78% of digital transformations fail to meet their objectives. Not because the technology doesn't work. Because the people who lead them never address the one thing that determines success before a single system goes live. Organizational readiness. This is the story of why. You've seen it happen. A Fortune 500 company announces a billion-dollar cloud migration. They bring in the best consultants, the newest platforms, the latest AI frameworks. 6 months in, adoption stalls. Employees default back to legacy systems. The CFO questions the ROI. The project becomes a liability instead of a competitive advantage. According to recent 2025 research from McKinsey, the average cost of a failed digital transformation initiative now exceeds $40 million. But here's what keeps executives up at night. That number doesn't capture the real damage. It doesn't measure lost market share, burned out talent, or the erosion of trust in leadership when transformation becomes synonymous with chaos. This problem doesn't exist in Singapore or Mumbai or Tokyo because the technology is different there. It exists because organizations everywhere are committing the same fundamental mistake. They treat digital transformation as a technology project instead of a human one. They build the bridge before asking if people want to cross it. In the next 8 minutes, we're going to dismantle the myth that technology is your transformation bottleneck. We'll walk through 3 structural failures that kill digital initiatives before they ever gain momentum. Then we'll show you the framework that leading organizations across Asia Pacific are using to reverse that trajectory. This isn't about implementing faster. It's about being ruthlessly honest about what your organization actually needs to change. By the end, you'll understand why your last transformation stalled. And more importantly, what to do differently before you launch your next one. The first structural failure: misalignment between transformation strategy and organizational design. Here's what this means in practice. Your CTO designs a cloud-first architecture. Your chief operating officer hasn't restructured the teams who will own it. Your CFO is still evaluating ROI on a 3-year model. These aren't separate conversations happening in parallel. They're conflicting mandates. Gartner's 2025 CIO Agenda research found that 62% of digital transformation projects lacked clear governance structures before technology implementation began. Think about that. Nearly 2/3 of initiatives started without deciding who owns what, how decisions get made, or how success gets measured. Look at the case of a major financial services firm headquartered in Singapore. They committed $150 million to modernizing their core banking infrastructure. The technology rollout was flawless, but the organizational structure hadn't changed. 3 different departments still owned customer data. Approval workflows still required sign-offs from legacy business units. 2 years later, the system worked perfectly. The organization couldn't use it effectively. Here's what they did differently in year 3. They mapped every customer journey, identified which teams actually needed to make decisions at each step, and restructured governance before they touched the technology again. They embedded transformation accountability into every department head's performance review. Within 6 months, the cloud infrastructure was generating measurable value. Your application. Before your next transformation, conduct a ruthless organizational audit. Ask yourself, if this transformation succeeds, which roles and teams become obsolete? Which new capabilities do we need to build? Who actually owns the end-to-end customer experience? Your org structure should mirror your target technology architecture, not the other way around. The second structural failure is what we call capability vacuum. You've upgraded the system. You haven't upgraded the people who operate it. This is where digital transformation becomes digital displacement. Employees aren't resisting change because they're afraid of innovation. They're struggling because they lack the skills to work effectively in the new environment. According to the World Economic Forum's 2026 Future of Jobs report, 71% of enterprise leaders acknowledge that digital skills gaps are now their primary barrier to transformation success, exceeding technology infrastructure gaps for the first time. That's a historic inflection point. The bottleneck isn't hardware or software anymore. It's human capability. Consider what happened at a logistics conglomerate across Southeast Asia. They deployed an advanced AI-driven supply chain optimization platform. The software was state-of-the-art, but the supply chain managers who would use it daily had never trained on AI-native workflows. They didn't understand probabilistic forecasting or how to interpret confidence intervals. They trusted the old spreadsheet model more than the AI recommendation. So they kept using the spreadsheet. The $40 million investment gathered dust. What changed the story? They built a 6-month upskilling program. Not as a compliance checkbox, but as a fundamental part of the transformation roadmap. They partnered with their university networks in India and Singapore to create customized learning paths. They gave teams permission to make mistakes in a sandbox environment. They measured adoption not by system usage, but by behavioral change. Are managers making different decisions because of new data? Are they comfortable with uncertainty? Here's what matters. Capability development isn't training. Training is one-off. Capability development is continuous. It means building learning into your operational rhythm. It means having senior leaders publicly acknowledge when they're learning something new. It means measuring what your people can actually do with the system, not just whether they're logging in. The third structural failure is measurement myopia. Organizations define success around technology metrics instead of business outcomes. System uptime is 99.9%. Cloud infrastructure costs are down 15%. Adoption rates hit 85%. Everything looks green on the dashboard. But customer acquisition cost hasn't moved. Decision-making speed is actually slower because new approval workflows are broken. Employee retention in critical roles dropped. Nobody noticed because nobody was measuring it. A 2026 Deloitte study of 1,200 global organizations found that 68% of digital transformations that achieved technology implementation goals still failed to generate the expected business value. Let that sit for a moment. 2/3 of technically successful projects don't deliver business impact. That's a measurement problem, not a technology problem. We saw this explicitly across India's financial services sector. A major bank modernized its entire core infrastructure. The migration was clean. The systems performed beautifully. But the bank's net promoter score actually declined. Why? The new system consolidated customer accounts in ways that felt good to engineers but created friction for customers. Nobody had measured customer experience impact before going live. They measured technical success instead. The framework that works. Before you launch any transformation, establish what we call the Transformation Balance Scorecard. This isn't about lagging indicators. This is about leading indicators that predict business value. For a supply chain transformation, don't just measure on-time delivery rates. Measure decision velocity. How many optimization decisions is management making per week? Measure variance. Is the forecast accuracy actually improving? Measure human judgment. Are your experts needed for different, higher value work? Your application. Sit down with your CFO and operational leaders. Define the 5 metrics that prove your transformation succeeded. Not from its perspective. From the customer's perspective. From the market's perspective. Make these metrics visible to every leader. Report on them monthly. If the numbers aren't moving, your transformation isn't working, regardless of what your CTO tells you about system performance. Picture your organization 18 months from now. Your people don't dread change announcements. They've built skills that make them more valuable to your company and to the market. Your cloud infrastructure isn't just modern. It's enabling decisions that competitors can't make as fast as you can. Your customers experience you differently because the transformation actually moved something that matters to them. Your board doesn't ask whether the digital transformation was worth it. They ask what transformation is coming next. That's not because your technology was better than everyone else's. It's because you did what most organizations won't do. You treated transformation as a human challenge first, and a technology challenge second. When your people are genuinely ready. When your organization is structured to move. When you're measuring what actually matters. The technology becomes almost irrelevant. It works because the foundation under it is solid. That's the difference between a digital transformation that fails before it starts, and one that actually moves your entire organization forward. If your organization is in the early stages of planning a transformation initiative, or if you're 6 months in and starting to see the cracks, this framework will save you millions in wasted spend and countless hours of organizational disruption. You're not alone in this challenge. But you're making a choice right now about whether you'll address it the way most organizations do, or whether you'll do it differently. Subscribe to Apex Minds. Hit the notification bell, and we'll send you our next video the moment it drops. Next week, we're unpacking the... Thanks for listening. If you found this valuable, please subscribe to Apex Minds D4J for more powerful insights. See you in the next one.